I'm joined today by Harley Jeanise, Regional Vice President at First On-Site Property Restoration. So one of your offices is in the Central Region, I think you told me, for First On-Site, the Dallas,
Yes.
is one of them. And I last checked, and there was more than 40,000 homes and businesses across Texas still in the dark from power outage, .us. And ever since the hurricane slammed, just into the region. So Beryl, which escalated to a tropical storm from the hurricane, brought huge surge flooding and inland flooding from rain and damage and wind gusts and all kinds of stuff. And I know even leading up to this interview, you dealt with a lot of things and we had to reschedule because of weather. I mean, so today's topic basically is just how to stay safe amid these storms and what will it entail to just restore the damage after. Thank you for joining me, Harley.
No, absolutely. Very, very glad to be here. Always glad to discuss restoration and the industry in general. Such a dynamic industry. There's always something really interesting going on. So, but you're right. Hurricane Beryl was it did a lot more than people expected. And when you talk about safety, Beryl's a really good example of that because it's kind of the little hurricane that could. And
Yeah.
it caused a lot more flooding and damage than people were really expecting. When you've been in the industry as long as we have and as First On Site has, you kind of stay in preparation mode. So for us, it's always top of mind.
Hmm.
And we do a lot of work in advance to get information out to our clients to make them aware, really, really trigger the thought process to consider, what can happen, the disruption that can come.
Hmm.
And Beryl was really just that. It knocked power out. It kept power out for a while. The medical area in downtown Houston was out for longer than expected. We were there on projects, and all the debate was when to bring power in. There's always that kind of gray area of, do we mobilize generators just to get there and then the power come back on?
Hmm.
And really what happened is the power stayed out a lot longer than people were expecting. And of course, that's just disruption, citywide. So it was a lot worse than what was anticipated.
Absolutely. And so just so that our audience could know, could you talk more about your beginnings in the restoration and remediation industry?
Absolutely. So I've been in the industry since shortly after 1995. I've built businesses along the way when I was much younger. Moved to Dallas to acquire a restoration company. And then in 2016, joined forces with what was Interstate Restoration at the time. And then, of course, a few years later, we rebranded to First On Site and are now a global restoration and reconstruction company. We service North America, Canada, over to Hawaii, and down into Puerto Rico. So we've got a large footprint here, and run a large amount of projects and stay always in that uh, prepared state of mind. That's kind of the world. That's kind of the chaotic world we live in. So it's fun. It's very dynamic. I love the industry. That's why I've stayed in it for so long. It's ever changing. It's very exciting. There's always new variables. We have great clientele that we work with. We have such long, meaningful relationships with our clientele that it makes those chaotic days even better when we are a great partner to them, and in return, they're a great partner to us.
Absolutely. So speaking of just hurricane season, I mean, are there any common safety measures that can be taken during the season? I mean, you said staying ready, but are there anything that's common that someone can just do to prepare?
Well, depending on the size of the storm, you're either going to stay or you're going to evacuate.
Hmm.
If you have the means and the capability and the type of job that allows you to evacuate, I would make that decision sooner rather than later and get on the road. We've all heard the stories about people being stuck on the roads, gasoline shortages,
Yeah.
Southeast part of Texas is the oil and gas mecca of North America. We get a large storm down there, and Dallas starts to see gasoline shortages, fuel shortages within 10 to 14 days. So it's always it's always good to have a plan in place for your family. The Red Cross does a good job of putting lists out of things to have on hand. Obviously, if you're going to evacuate, you want to leave early enough, or if you have the ability to bring additional fuel with you, that's something we do for our own family, our extended family that is still in Southeast Texas. If you're going to get on the road, you want to be prepared. There's great resources for that throughout the internet to give you lists to think about, to really go through. Like I said, Red Cross is a good one for safety measures. But really, I think it starts with whether you're going to stay or whether you're going to evacuate. If you're going to stay, it's always good to prepare to be without power and possibly water for an extended period of time. So having water on hand, canned goods on hand, basic to what I consider basic plus safety supplies on hand, and understanding that the days and weeks following a, a hurricane event, it's going to be hot, it's going to be uncomfortable. So really preparing yourself mentally for that, and then having the materials on hand to take you, I would say, 2 weeks to a month through the aftermath of a hurricane.
Nice.
For us personally,
Hmm.
living in a hurricane prone area of the Gulf Coast, if it's a 3, we're leaving town. If
Yeah.
it's less than a 3, we'll stay.
Okay.
We've been able to invest in whole house generation. We keep kind of what we have, kind of a go box on hand that's got those items in it. It's got a list of things we check for. Water's always top of mind.
Yeah.
It helps you really, deal with the uncomfortable nature of the fallout from a hurricane.
Yeah. Excuse me. So for your specific organization, how are actions coordinated when preparing to respond for disasters for first on site?
Well, besides being fortunate enough to have some really senior level operators, we have a very select group of our company that's known as Client Solutions.
Hmm.
And that particular group of professionals are dedicated to this type of service year round, whether it's, wildfires, weather related events, hailstorms, tornadoes, hurricanes, various types of large losses, large facility fires. That particular group responds to that level of loss. And
Okay.
so our individual offices, though they are many, we have this extraordinary group of men and women that come in and support our local efforts and our knowledge and capability to the event area. And we're able to really grow our capabilities there. We're able to really multiply very quickly our service area and service capabilities to where the level of business our customers are used to Monday through Sunday outside of event specific times, they're able to still experience that level of service in those catastrophic situations. When we have those area wide events, there's so many challenges. So having operators that understand it, they're able to convey what's going on, they're able to calm the customers down and thoroughly expand on what's going to happen over the next days, weeks, month, and discuss the goals of that day, the goals of the days to come, and the long-term goal really help bring calm to what's always going to be a chaotic event.
Okay.
Um,
Hmm.
Road closures, movement challenges, debris getting removed. Those groups come in and start clearing roads, working, with the large debris removal groups that come in that work for the cities, work for the county, work for the state. They come in. There's challenges working around the natural hazards following a storm. So having a team of that level helps bring calm to what's always going to be chaotic.
Right. But they come in and already kind of know where to start, so they just go ahead and get rolling with things. So,
Absolutely.
are there any maybe like financial impacts of powerful hurricanes making landfall in like densely populated areas during the season?
Yeah, the impacts are they can be, quite substantial. We all hear the numbers following hurricanes, $200 billion.
Mhm.
There's damages to all areas of infrastructure, from telecommunication to highways and bridges to, general areas outside of the business districts, and then the business districts getting hit so hard, power being out. There's a lot of really scary statistics that you read about when it comes to small and medium-sized businesses being out of business for an extended period of times, and numbers like 60, 70, 80% never returning to business. So
Yep.
it's important that infrastructure gets established quickly, and that private businesses are able to function and get back to performing their profession, whatever it may be, whether it's law offices, automotive dealerships, restaurants. There's a lot of exposure to the community and the group of business men and women that make up the fabric of that community and that business district. So the burden is on a lot of people, including us, to get that restoration process started and to work around those natural obstacles and be woven really well into the city and the authorities of the city and state, and to be able to work alongside them to get the community and the daily life of everyone restored. Getting one business open is a step in the right direction. Getting more and more open every day, getting roads cleared, and getting, the community back to what its normal day-to-day life is. Being able to go to your favorite restaurant, get gas at the fueling station right down the road, and, kids getting back to school and getting that return to normal as quickly as possible is always the challenge. And it's always top of mind for us because we started as a small business.
Hmm.
We've grown into a large corporation. We've been through those seasons. So when we say we understand, we understand.
The ultimate goal. Well, Harley, thank you so much for your time and insight. Thank you again for being able to or being willing to reschedule and do this for us, for our audience. We really love to just share extended knowledge. So before we go, where can our listeners connect with you or learn more about, First Onsite?
Well, they can connect with us on our website. We have a very robust, very talented marketing department that's done a really outstanding job on our website. There's a ton of resources on our website that you can read through that help our clients prepare. So that's really the number one place to connect. Of course, I'm on LinkedIn and all the social media platforms where I'm an easy target to find. It's why I'm going in a lot of directions at one time. But we spend a lot of time developing great links and great areas of knowledge on our website that you can go to and read through, that can definitely cause you to expand your knowledge and questions and preparation skills as we lead into the heart of hurricane season for this season.
Thank you, Harley.
Thank you. And thank y'all and for everything that your publication and the podcast does to spread awareness.
Absolutely.